Today I'm just bringing you out here to look at our goat pen. So I've been working on this goat pen behind me. I've got a little stick fence I just put up, tying into some existing fence that was already up right here. And we've been working hot and heavy on this, trying to get the goats picked up. So for those who don't know or haven't seen, I picked up these Phaeton goats not too long ago. So let's walk over here and take a look at them. Homesteading is an instinctive act to survive that has been passed down by our ancestors. Simply put, they did what they had to do to survive on the land. That's why I raise what I can, harvest what I need, and grow what I eat. I am Nathan Balderez, and this is KBL Texas Homestead. We got Blanca right here. Blanca, she's one of the female Phaeton goats. And then we have, I see my fence kind of got damaged right there by my cows. But Sasha, say hi. Sasha. This one is like a little dog already. She's like a little dog. She loves to be around us, be around the house, doing everything and getting into everything we do. She was gardening with us the other day. She was helping us in the garden, picking weeds, also picking some freshly plants we planted, which wasn't very helpful. But she's become a house favorite, and we were planning to sell her, but I don't know if that's gonna happen now because she just become a house favorite. Ain't that right, Tashi? So, like I was saying, here's Snickers and Doodles. These are our two billy goats on the homestead. Those are our billies. We've got another female here and another female here, and then this baby that was born here on the homestead. And then here's another one. We actually bought her with the goats when we purchased. So I purchased all these goats together. And this here we call Sasha. She's our little homestead mascot. She runs the whole property. She don't get pinned up. She don't stay in, no way. She finds a way out. And she just runs the whole homestead, over by the house during the day, over here by the goats in the evening. She likes to chase the mailman like a dog and loves to greet everybody as they come through the driveway. So that is Sasha. These boy here, this is a female. We haven't named her. We're gonna be looking to sell her probably. And then I have another male that looks just like her. Is about a week, I think, younger, and we're gonna be getting ready to sell him as well. He's over by the house though. Mama didn't take to him, so we've been bottle feeding him. But then you'll see I've got big girl back here. She's just she's been getting bullied. You can see this little divot in here. She's been getting kind of thin on me because the other cows don't let her eat, and she's very soft natured, so she don't fight, and she's just been getting scraps. And as you can see, she's too big for scraps, so she hasn't been getting her fair share of feed. So I pinned her up just today with the goats so we can see if we can't help that situation and try to get her fed up a little bit. And again, here on the fencing, all I did was I actually did drive T-post in the ground on this side. I've got T-posts that I had extra, and then I wired a stick to it so that way I could drive nails into my rails into the post, and it seemed to be held up fairly well. I had You can see these verticals here. I had some big gaps right in here where the goats were finding their way out. So I just kind of weaved these verticals in there to help with that. As well as, I'm gonna have to go back. I don't know if you'll be able to tell on video. You can, but you see this rail is, well, it's actually, let me get down here. So it's about midway, you know, belly wise of the cows. And I built the pen to keep the goats in, knowing that I might have an issue with my cows. And well, I haven't really had an issue with too many of the cows, other than that knucklehead back there, my steer. You can see him walking through the brush. He has decided that he knows there's food in here, and he started jumping over the rails. So I'm gonna have to put another rail height, which I figured I knew I was going to. And actually on the back end, I did do that. I added some extra rails for the height. And I also did it right here because this was the last part that I closed up. But I had to add some height because he came here, saw food in these bins, and jumped over the fence. How do you like them apples? All right, here's some more of the pen. And again, this was some existing panels that the original homeowner had up, and he actually had this whole area fenced off. When we moved in, there was a good portion of it already taken down. I took down a good portion of it, using these panels elsewhere for other things, and this was what was left of the pen. And then I decided, well, I'm gonna go ahead and leave that up and drive some new poles down and just tie into it. Because you can see over here, he had T-posts in the ground in each panel, overlapping each other. So there's T-posts all through there. All those are wired up. And I just tied into it with the existing T-post that was in the ground, wired it. And actually I wired this section with barbed wire that I had laying around. Got those wired up, drove my rails with nails into that. Ah, you like that, huh? Rails with nails. I'm a poet and didn't know it. But anyhow, got the rest of this fencing put up. I put this little gate up. As you can see, these poles here. So this is old chain link fencing. And you can see a post left over there. There's actually 2 poles laying over there. And there's actually like 2 or 3 gates laying back here by this blue thing. He had a chain link fence up at one time. When I started clearing back here, I found it piled up. Actually, it wasn't piled up. It was just scattered through all this brush. There was brush completely covering this area. I found it, and so I ended up driving these posts in the ground with those. This was the remnants of the chain link fence, and it already had all the hardware on there. Those 2 brackets. I had this gate being used elsewhere for the cows. I since opened up that whole area for the cows and didn't need a gate no more, so I brought that gate and I put it here. And this is the makeup of our fence, and it's actually been about 3 weeks now that I put this up and put the goats in here, and they've been seeming to doing just fine. They've been in here. It is a mess. Again, this stuff is gonna be all cleared out. I put them in here, like I said, about 3 weeks ago, but it was kind of a rush situation. I needed to get them in here because the problem was when I was feeding my cows, the goats were coming and bumping me. The cows were coming and bumping the goats into me and like to trample me. So I had to eliminate the goats from that equation and put them off separate, so that way they weren't competing for food with the cows, and also it wasn't a hazard to me as I came in to feed them. Unfortunately, the way I'm set up right now, I have to come into the pen to feed the cows, and you know, that's I want to get set up to where I can feed them from outside the fence line and just pour it into a feed bin, but you know, that's later to come. So now I've got the cows situated. I had to get some fencing situated for the cows because I opened up the whole pasture to them. Now I got to focus on cleaning this mess up for the goats, putting them a little shelter in here. So I got to figure out how to move this goat shelter. So I have that shelter way back off in the distance for the goats, and originally I had the goats over there. Now I got to get that brought over here, and I don't have a tractor, and I don't have anything other than a trailer, so I'm probably gonna end up having to get it underneath the tree, lift it up with a chainsaw of some sort, and put it on the trailer, then drive it around here and try to get it over this fence, because I'm not gonna get it through. And I wish I'd have done that before I built the fence, but now, you know, it's a learning curve. I'm gonna have to either tear down a section of fence or try to go over the fence with this structure. Here, this was my problem solving solution for water. I've only got one water trough, and separating the cows and the goats, I needed a way to get them both water without having to bucket water over here every day. Now, unfortunately, this garden hose runs, let's see, I don't know if you can see, but my house is back this way off in the distance. That hose runs all the way back there to the house and ties into my garden spigot. So that's how I'm getting water here now. Now I've got a float right here, automatic water that keeps the level up. I was able to split the pin split the water trough, you know, with the pin. Ran some rails over the top. The goats can get water from this side, cows get water from this side, and seems to be working out fairly okay for now. But sooner or later I'm going to get me a second water trough and hard pipe some water out here, so that way I can have multiple locations for water for these guys. These goats, they've been testing out the fence. They love rubbing on all the wood, so it's been holding up. Hey boy, what you doing?